It's your boy J-Jus. Hope each and every one of you guys is having a safe and blessed day. So guys, as y'all know, the prices of Air Jordans have been crazy. Prices have fluctuated up and down. And oh yeah, believe me, we gonna talk about it. If you haven't caught the review on the Nike Dunk Low LX women's shoe that I did review, man, make sure to go catch that. I will put the link down in the description section below, man. Yes, guys, I do want to, talk about the prices of some of these Air Jordans. I do have with me 4 examples that I'm going to be showing you guys. First one that I do want to talk about, guys, is, the Air Jordan 5 Green Beans. Now, when it comes to the Air Jordan 5 Green Beans, the original release back in 2006 was $135. Now, of course, when these released back in 2022, these retail for $200. So that is a $65 increase. Now, of course, when it comes to the Air Jordan 5, a lot of the releases that have been dropping lately have been around that 200 mark. I mean, we may have gotten some for $190, but a lot have been around that 200 mark, which also brings up the fact of the Air Jordan 5 Burgundies. Now, when those originally released, those retail for $145, a part of the LS series. Now those will retail at $225. So as you guys see, that is an $80 increase on an Air Jordan 5. And I mean, it's not to say that, to complain about the price, but in my opinion, $225 on the retail is just crazy. I mean, it happened with the UNC Air Jordan 5s. Now, I definitely could see those, being that $225 sneaker, because I mean, some part of it, I mean, it does follow that, collegiate, storyline. I mean, with the colorway, I'm not, as far as the shoe wise, even with that collegiate patch on it, I could definitely see that shoe being $225. But with the Air Jordan 5, Burgundies, I feel like they could have just, gave us a retail of $190, and we would have definitely been good with that. And I feel like that may be one of the reasons why most people may not go after that shoe, unless you're, an OG sneakerhead or a classic sneakerhead, and that shoe fits in your caliber and you were waiting for that shoe to come out, man. But the Air Jordan 5 is the one that I'm going after first, man, because listen, a lot of Air Jordan 5s, when they first released, I want to say the Air Jordan 5s retroed at $125. So of course, it's a $10 increase, when these first dropped, but in my opinion, an $80 increase from a $10 increase, I feel like most people would be hip to spending that $10, rather than a whole $80. But in my opinion, I'm gonna go with the classic, which is the Air Jordan 13 playoffs. Now, when the Air Jordan 13 playoffs released this year, these retail at $210. And I want to say that the 2011 pair retail for $160. And of course, the original 1997 pair retailed at, I want to say, $150. Now, of course, when it comes to Air Jordan 13 playoffs, I believe that was the retail price on them back then in 1997, $150. But of course, when it comes to a classic like these, as I mentioned, I feel like, that $200 price, on an Air Jordan 13, I feel like when it comes to an OG like this, I definitely am willing to spend that price, because I mean, we haven't seen this shoe in a few years, and I mean, just the nostalgia behind the shoe, the history behind the shoe. And that's not to say that a shoe has to have history for it to have a certain price mark. I just personally would prefer, for Jordan Brand to at least, give us some colorways that we want, and maybe, more people would be hip to spending that price on, some of these retros, which brings me to my next one, which is the Air Jordan 7. Now, these Air Jordan 7 Afro Beats retail for $210. Now, of course, this is one that most people did not want. This is one where, it is a fresh, brand new colorway. Most people wasn't looking forward to it. I mean, we had the Benz, which released a few years ago. And I mean, to be honest, this was a shoe that was slept under the radar. Most people just wasn't hip to. And I feel like, overall, that retail price is what, killed this shoe. Now, I'm not saying that, people ain't grab it or, it's a trash shoe, because I don't call shoes trash. But I feel like that retail price is what drew people away from the shoe. I feel like some may have, been hip to, grabbing the shoe. Listen, I mean, if you're one who was hip to grabbing the Air Jordan 7 Afro Beats, let me know down below. But I mean, I feel like when it comes to certain retail prices on shoes, I feel like that is what draws most people away from the shoe, and that is why most people wait until, they can either find the shoe for a much lower price, or they wait till they can actually, find the shoe at a discounted price, maybe at your Nike outlet or so. But I mean, this colorway, for instance, wasn't, as I mentioned, a colorway that most people wanted. And I mean, look at the retail price, $210. So I feel like when it comes to colorways that, most sneakerheads do not want, or just the sneaker community in general, when it comes to colorways that, we do not want, those are the, colors, and those are just the shoes that Jordan Brand tends to give the most highest, retail prices, in my opinion. I mean, another one, for example, look at the Air Jordan 17 Lightnings. Back then, I want to say those retail for $150, and now Jordan Brand has actually extended an extra $100 price increase on those. Now those is retailing for $250 next year, and I feel like that is going to kind of, mess with the shoes alternative a little bit, simply because, as I mentioned, most people may not want to pay that $250, especially for Air Jordan 17. I mean, I could see if they gave us the Air Jordan 17s with the suitcase and the CD, I would definitely be hip to paying $250 for those. I mean, even though there are still gonna be, some people out there who will be willing to pay that price simply because it's a classic, since 2002, and I get it. But I'm saying, as far as certain retail prices, I feel like Jordan Brand is reaching a little bit with a lot of these retail prices. I mean, why not just keep the retail price the same? $150 ain't bad. I mean, the Air Jordan 2s, those, they retail at, $150. Now, I want to say $175, for the highs, and $150 for the lows. So, I mean, when it comes to a lot of, silhouettes like the Jordan 2s, the Jordan 1s, the Jordan 7s, I feel like, Jordan Brand should keep prices where they are. I mean, look at the Jordan highs. Jordan highs right now are, and I've spoken about this so many times, Jordan highs went up $10 increase. Remember, those was $170, now they're $180. And you have the lows, where the lows go for $130. And I mean, yeah, it just takes me so much back to the point where in the 90s, Jordans was literally $65. Now you have Jordans going for $130, $140, and you also got to think about, taxes and fees, man. It's just crazy as far as, times right now, especially, financial times, with everything that's going on in the economy. Most people may not have the funds, to actually go out and grab that shoe that they want. So I feel like a lot of times that is why, a lot of these shoes even sit on shelves as well, because just the prices of them, most people do not want to pay. And, it's getting crazy out here, y'all. I mean, it's getting crazy, man. Like, one last shoe I want to show y'all guys is the Air Jordan 3 Fire Reds. Now, of course, retail on these was $210. Now, of course, the 2013 pair, we had that retail for $160, and the 2007 pair, that retail for $135. Now, of course, when it comes to Jordan 3s, the original price for the Air Jordan 3s was $100 back then. I mean, personally, I would have definitely been hip to spending $100 back then. I mean, I have spent $100 back then on, you know, a pair of Air Jordans. But I mean, I feel like as far as, you know, inflation and everything going up, of course, you know, that is going to affect everything. And I mean, you know, and I've mentioned this plenty of times with Nike and Jordan brands, seeing the prices that people are willing to spend on a lot of these shoes, that definitely, you know, just puts them on the verge of, okay, people are willing to spend this price. Okay, so now let's up this an extra $80. Let's up this an extra $70, $60 or whatever, you know, shoe it may be. And I mean, these retail for $210, and I mean, I was definitely hip to this shoe because, as y'all know, this was one of the main shoes last year that I was definitely looking forward to, besides the Air Jordan 2 Chicago. So, you know, I'm kind of hip to the price point on these, but I feel like, you know, still Jordan brand could have at least thrown these to us for maybe $190, or maybe even kept it that $160. Personally, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, me being an OG sneakerhead and, you know, being into sneakers for so long, it's just I start to notice a lot of things. And for those of you who have been in the sneaker community for so long, you definitely can relate. Look at the newly Air Jordan 11 DMPs. Like, I know Air Jordan 11s is my favorite, but they went up an extra $5 on those, and now those are retailing at $230. I remember when Air Jordan 11s used to retail for $125. And I mean, look, y'all, throughout the years, as I mentioned, with the hype and demand and the oversaturation of just, you know, so many shoes being produced and the prices that people are paying, you definitely can expect a lot of these prices to definitely go up. Listen, man, like I always say, Nike and Jordan brand is watching, man. But I mean, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Like I always say, you got your boy J-Jus, you got the channel, you got my thoughts and opinions on these Air Jordan prices, man. Listen, it's gonna get crazy. Don't be surprised. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Reach for the stars. Sky's the limit. Hit that subscribe button as well before I forget. Make sure to leave a like at the end of this video and keep the post notifications on, because I got bangers on the way, man. Reach for the stars. Sky's the limit. And we out.